Hello beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Everything that I used in this video will be listed down below. Please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss whenever I post another video, and I hope y'all enjoy it. I did my brows as well as prime my eyelids with some concealer off camera. Now I'm going in with this beautiful palette. I'm using this shade as a transition color, and I'm going to add a little bit at a time, build it up as well as blend it out, making sure that I don't add too much of that shade because I didn't really want it to show through like that, but I did want it to show just a little bit, but I didn't want it to be too bold and pigmented. Now that I'm done blending that out, I'm going in with this second shade. This is like a burgundy color, and I'm going to just dab that on my outer corner, really building that color up as well as adding it to my crease area. And I'm just building it enough that the color will show through, and I'm just blending it upward towards that transition color. And I'm going back in with that transition color just to make sure that I don't have any harsh lines between the two shades, and really making sure that the transition colors show through just enough but not too much. And to do my cut crease, I'm going to use the guide method, which you just take some concealer, put it as close to your lash line as possible, look up, and it will give you a guide where your concealer should stop at. You don't want it to be too far down, because if you happen to look up, it will transfer where it's supposed to in the first place. So you want to make sure that you just put it as close to your lash line and look up, and that will give you your stopping point. You don't have to do that method if you don't want to. That's just something that's an easier way to do a cut crease if you are a beginner. And now I'm just filling in the areas that need to be filled in, as well as tapping that concealer into place to dry it down. To dry that concealer down even further, I'm going in with this accent brush, and I'm just tapping everything into place, really making sure when I get close to the edges that I don't press down too hard to transfer any of that concealer onto the areas that I don't want it to be. Now I'm just going in with this white glitter. At first I was going to do just a white eyeshadow, but then I thought, no, I want it to be a little different than what I normally would do. So I'm just pressing this glitter all over where that concealer is. So making sure that it's pressed in nicely before moving on to my final color. And as you can see, without even adding another color, this is just so gorgeous. And now I'm debating on which shade I should use, and I decided on this one. And I'm basically going to place that color right where my underneath, my natural crease, keeping it in that area. And when I get towards the back area, I am going to blend it up just a little bit, but I mainly want it under that natural crease so that when I do have my eyes open or looking at something, that you still can see the color, but not too much. And I'm taking that same brush that I applied that white glitter, and I flipped it over and used the clean side to blend those two together. I wish you guys could see this look in person, because on the video it does it no justice. And I'm going to add a little bit of eyeliner, and I'm just getting as close to my lash line as I possibly can. And I'm just stamping it and then filling in whatever needs to be filled in. And at first I was going to stop right here, but then I decided to go ahead and add a wing as well. So I'm just making that a little bit bolder towards the back. Now I'm just going to add a line from my lower lash line, and sorry, I had to get more product. A line on my lower lash line, and then go towards the point and kind of blend it together and connect those two lines, and then fill in the areas that need to be filled in. For this look, I did not want a bold eyeliner look, so that's why I stopped right there. And I'm gonna repeat the same steps on the opposite side. Once I'm done with this side, I'm gonna go ahead and apply my lashes off camera. Now I'm going in with some moisturizer. Sorry, I had something on my face. And I already moisturized my face, but since it's been a while since I've applied some, I'm gonna go in with a little more. And then I'm gonna go in with some primer. This is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and I love to use this primer because it really helped my makeup stick and last. I applied my foundation on the back of my hand, and I'm just warmed it up a little bit before applying it to my face. And you don't have to do it this way. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And now I'm just going to take my brush and buff that in, making sure that I take my time and really blend this out before going in with any concealer. I love this foundation. It's one of my favorites. A little go a long way, but if you do need to build it up, it is buildable. And I'm also adding a little bit of that foundation near my wing, just in case I messed up my wing area. On top of, I don't really want my concealer to be right there. Since my concealer is a lot lighter, I prefer to have my foundation close to there. And now I'm just going to blend that out. And I'm taking my time when blending it out because I don't want to kind of smudge the foundation up until my eye. And I'm just going to take this little accent brush and really take my time and blend that out. Since this concealer is a lot lighter than what I'm used to, I'm going in with a real little bit. And when I say a little bit, a little go a long way. You don't really need a lot. And I'm just going to let that sit for a little while and dry down while I continue to blend out the rest of that foundation. Since I'm done blending out that foundation and I'm still letting that concealer kind of dry down a little bit, I'm going in with my bronzer just to bronze my face just a little bit. I don't want to go in too heavy with this bronzer because it is very pigmented. A little go a long way. To help me blend out that bronzer a little more, I'm going back in with my foundation brush and I'm just going over the edges as well as on top to really help blend that in. I feel like I let that concealer sit as long as I need it. So now I'm going in and blending out the edges first because I don't want any harsh lines. And it's not too bright, but it's still brighter than what I'm used to. So I'm just going in and blending that out, really making sure I focus on the edges. To help me blend out that inner corner a little more, I'm going in with my beauty blender, pressing very lightly, mainly focusing on the edges and making sure that everything is nicely blended before going in and setting that area. And before I set that area, I'm actually going to go in with a little more of that concealer. While I let that concealer dry down a little bit, I'm going to do the other side, repeating the same exact steps. And I let that sit long enough, so I'm just going to blend out the edges first before blending out everything else. Very lightly, making sure that I don't press in too hard because again, the sponge soaks up most of that product and I want a little coverage. To get rid of that harsh line, I'm going in with my foundation brush. There's nothing on it, but I'm blending out those edges, making sure that I get rid of that harsh line. I'm also going over the areas that I applied that concealer as well, just to tone that down a little bit. I'm going back in with that beauty blender just to make sure that I soak up any excess product before going in and setting my under eye. And I'm using some translucent powder to set under there first. And I'm just lightly pressing that in, making sure that I cover everything. And I'm really focusing on the inner corner, making sure that everything is nice and pressed in. I almost forgot to go back in with another layer of concealer on this side, so that's what I'm doing now before going back in with some more powder to set the rest of my face. To help clean up that line a little bit from that bronzer, I'm just going in with some translucent powder and I'm setting the rest of that foundation as well. And I'm just tapping that in, making sure that everything is nice and even. Before I dust away that powder, I'm going in with another powder to really help bring this look together. And I'm setting that bronzer as well, as you can see, but I'm mainly focusing on setting that bottom portion. And I didn't let that sit for too long before dusting that away. I also went in with that other powder underneath my eye as well, just so that I don't have any white cast from that translucent powder underneath, which you shouldn't, but just in case I did. Now I'm going to blend out this concealer and repeat everything that I did on the opposite side. I'm going to also add a little bit of that translucent powder onto my nose just to set that foundation on my nose and reapply a little bit of powder to my forehead. I didn't apply any concealer on my nose because for this look, I didn't feel like I needed it. Now it's time to dust everything away. I let it sit long enough and I'm really taking my time with dusting everything away before going in and setting my face with some setting spray. My spray is almost out, so it kind of like spat some excess spray out, and I'm just taking the other end of my beauty blender and really pressing it into my skin. The same thing happened with this one as well, but I just let that dry down on its own. And now I'm going in with my lip liner, and this is one of my favorite lip liners, as y'all can tell how small it is. And I'm just adding that as normal, and I'm going to pucker my lips together and then add on some lip gloss, and that is it, and that is all. hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss whenever I post another video. Everything that I use for this video will be listed down below. Feel free to check it out, and I will see you in the next one.